At BK number one with French fries and a drink, $18.
Oh my.
Again, that goes to the corporate thing. Sorry, it's not your fault.
Yeah,
we have to keep an X amount of profitability so we can continue to pay all of our other assets and keep everything else moving.
You're going to keep going back.
Yep.
But the second you go into a small business and somebody isn't crazy, bubbly, cracked out on Coke, or not Coke.
Literally was watching a video the other day. I was saying, American dream is dead. Okay, redefine the American dream. The American dream as we know it is dead, but that doesn't mean we don't have a dream.
Yeah. When you're around people that get it, it's wonderful. Am I perfect at it?
No. Welcome to the Cam and Joe Show. My name is Joe CEO with my good friend Cameron. How's it going, bro?
Good morning, big dog. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. If it's your first time watching, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you can keep up with what's going on. We're actually going to be talking about small businesses because we are both small business owners.
Yes, sir.
And there's some really cool stats that I don't think you know.
I want to know all about it because I think anytime you could bring the knowledge, put the knowledge to a number, I think it stands out. Like a couple weeks ago when we were talking about fatherlessness, as soon as we start to dive into this is the amount or this is the percentage of individuals without a father that will end up in prison.
Yep.
The amount of individuals that with a father have a greater percentage of going to college. As soon as you can throw down knowledge and then back it up with a stat, I think it bodes well.
It brings the validity into
100%,
what's going on.
100%.
And so
it's not just how we feel about something.
And here's the thing. I'm going to challenge everybody that's listening when it comes to stats. Stats change annually because we are different people every year. Mm-hmm. So when we were in high school or even when we were in elementary school, fatherless stats were vastly different than they are now, right? Small business stats were different. COVID did a huge chunk on a lot of small business stats. So if you're going, well, that's not the numbers I know. We're going off of the numbers that we have currently, 2024. I was trying to go for his most, this is what it says. Yeah. Now, those are still up for debate, but I think it's a good jumping off point.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So when you think, when you think of what is the benefit of supporting a small business?
Money staying in a community.
Okay.
When the term small business is often switched out for the term mom and pop, and I love that because it kind of paints the picture it humanizes a business, right? So and this is not to knock large businesses because large businesses usually mean large amounts of employment opportunities, so on and so forth. But when you have the opportunity to support a small business, I think about, and you were able to back this up with a stat, I think about the money that's able to stay right there in that community. Yeah. For instance, you're in coffee. Let's just talk about going to Steelhouse and grabbing a breakfast sandwich and coffee. How much of that goes back into Yuba Sutter County versus getting in line at Dutch or getting in line at Starbucks? Yeah. Right? How much of that goes back into the community? Yes, a portion of that via salaries and hourly to those employees, but how much of that actual dollar for the product goes back into town? Yeah. So when I hear support small business, for me, it's always, okay, yes, it's a family, it's more human, and it's more localized investment.
Yes.
I'm on the Cam and Joe Show. Everybody have a great day.
They agreed. Episode
They
over.
agreed. Next.
Well, so here's the debate that I always hear from economists. I have a couple friends that are economists, and they always say, well, most of the goods we get are traded goods. Sure. So you're getting goods from China, and you're getting it from X dollar, and then you're marking those up. Yeah. So technically, the money that you're using, a percentage of that is going for tariffs. A lot of that's going into other countries, which totally makes sense.
Taxed on their goods coming in. Yep.
And so, like paper plates, I don't know. There are some paper companies in the United States. There's a lot of paper companies in like India, right? Clothing. There are clothing companies in the U.S. There's also clothing companies around the world.
All over the world, yeah.
So I think that it's easy. People will start debating, and they'll be like, well, you're wrong, because it's like, no, we can both be right because it depends on the product. Correct. Right? I do look for USA made. Yeah. That is something I look for because I want to know. I mean, have you ever been like getting a high-end shirt? And you know that shirt was made like in a local area. Yeah. You know where it was developed. You know how it was got. You know what the trade routes. And a lot of those places want you to know that. Yeah. Because they want you to know.
They're very big on it. Yeah.
Well, it's also ethical. Small businesses benefits is the ethical element because it's not just, I want your money. It's like, no, I genuinely believe I can give you a better product that's better for you, that's fresher, that's,
I agree.
You know, and you can get lost in the sauce and some of that. But because of those things, my brain just farted, bro. I need more coffee. Hold on a second.
I think just to piggyback where you left off, I think when it comes down to the ethical side,
yes,
at the end of the day, it's about exchanging dollars for good or service, right? If you need that cup of coffee, which we all do, if you need that cup of coffee, if you have an opportunity to keep money locally, I would say try.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, we absolutely love beginning our weekends on Saturday at the farmer's market.
Absolutely.
Like, we will swing through and we'll chat with the beautiful, incredible Kelly Triddell. And of course, by 8:45, all of her bread is already gone. And we're like, dang.
Yeah.
One day we'll get up early on a Saturday. But nonetheless, exchange some hugs. And then we'll go around the bend. We'll hit up Country Butcher. Every Saturday, we'll always grab a tri-tip from Country Butcher. And then as soon as we get home, usually that afternoon, I'll smoke that thing on the trigger. And then we'll walk around and we'll grab we'll grab jerky from them, tri-tip. We'll grab coffee from Remnant. Shout out to the
I'm
Foch
happy
fam.
that you buy coffee from him.
Splash.
The episode's over.
Sorry. Shout out to Remnant Coffee. Joe's like, damn you. But no, it feels good. It feels good. I mean, we grab blueberries, strawberries, apples, apricots, everything right there that we need. Keeping it fresh, keeping that local, all locally sourced, actually helping people.
Yeah.
Just as easy, we could go through Rayleigh's or
Walmart
or wherever, and then that exchange, even if it's a little bit more, to be honest, I would rather do that with somebody that I know locally, put their blood, sweat, and tears into either growing that flour or raising that beef or so on and so forth. It feels better. And if the price doesn't greatly outweigh one good to another, which I don't believe it does, then absolutely, man, take my money. Like, if there's a business out there on a Saturday morning, I will do my best to be able to support them.
Absolutely.
And it feels right.
So I agree 100% in that. And I think the biggest thing that you're saying that over encompasses all of that is working within the means of the community that you have.
Yeah.
So often people don't realize, I need to work within my means. I need to do this. And so say your county is really good at artichokes.
Sure.
Or you're really good at, you've
Peaches.
got a lot of beef.
Yeah.
So you're going to have more steaks and jerky. Those are the strengths, right?
Yeah.
So when you're selling those goods, even if you're getting the paper from China, the majority of your goods that you're wrapping are going to be back into the economy. And that is local water, local grass, local feed for the most part. I mean, some people, depends where they get it, but that benefit is right there. So you can instantaneously see the decrease because it's not being shipped over the ocean. It's not being flown in. It's not being, no, it's right there. And I think a lot of the issues we have is we're working beyond our means. I should like totally turn off my ringer.
I remember my first podcast. This guy.
But it's working within your means.
Yeah.
And so working within your means is super important. And I think that we go, I really want that thing though in Europe. That's amazing. Get it. That's awesome. Don't think that, but don't devalue what is around you as well because you think that could be better.
I agree.
And it may be, or it's just different, So, I could take the coffee element. Trent makes an amazing coffee roast. He really dials it in. He's got it set. He's awesome. My coffee is vastly different in the regard that I go for low acidic beans. I don't want those grapefruit notes and raspberry notes. Why? Because that goes in your gastrointestinal tract and increases the acidity in your stomach. And that can, if you have an ulcer, game over, bro. Right? The preservatives that are in most coffee that they coat it with to keep it fresh. Yeah. You can see it. Like if you've ever looked at a Folgers cup, you can actually see coffee. Like a dip. And there's this thin film on top. And you can never get rid of that. And that was the preservatives that they used to keep that instead of
for the bean.
Instead of going, hey, let's roast this coffee. You're good. We'll roast it. This is good for 3 years now. instead of, hey, I just roasted this coffee. You want it? It's ready now. I just roasted it fresh, and you're going to get it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does that do to your health? What does that do to the benefits, right?
Yeah.
So I think that as a society, we've lost the concept of sticking within our means.
Yeah.
And so small businesses are that. Stick within your means.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you go to a local doctor, he's going to shoot you straight. He's going to be like, hey, man, this is what I see. This is what I know. Now, there is that amount. You may deal with some ignorance. He may not know what that doctor in L.A. knows or that doctor in New York. But he lives there. Yeah. His benefit is I'm going to give you the best information because I got to run a business here.
100%.
But, I want to make sure you're taken care of.
Yeah.
So it is a give and take. And I don't think anybody will know all things.
No, never. And I think if somebody does, then you got to question it a little bit.
If you think you know all things, you don't. Mm-hmm. So let's go into the monetary value. So this is from elevon.com. Just gave it a Google. I just put in value of small businesses and local economy. It says right here, if a person were to spend $100 at a local business, its estimate would be 68% of that stays within their local economy. If they spend that same amount at a large business, around 48% would stay in their local economy. Now, I've heard that number shift.
50 and 70, so
50 and 70. Difference. I actually have heard that number shift a lot, and I've heard it from 10% stays in the economy, 40% stays in the economy. Mm-hmm. I've heard it where 80% stay in the economy and 40% stay in the economy. So it's always within 40% to 20% more.
So somewhere in the 30% range based on the stat that you're looking at.
Mm-hmm. And it's annually. So
how much more would you like 30% of any product that you're purchasing to stay locally?
Yeah.
How incredible would that be?
Yeah. Well, and when you do that, think about it this way. We're working in a deficit right now. As the United States is in a deficit, and we've been in a deficit forever, signing money away like we don't care.
Yep.
Cool. That's great. Well, who carries the brunt of that? Businesses. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if you know that 30% more profitability could stay in your local economy, which means 30% of that actually goes back in towards taxes of other products or back in for property or back in for natural growth. Yeah. That means that money can actually negate what we've got. I have a theory that if we really, really wanted to fix the U.S.'s deficit, if everybody were to shop local, it would actually help it go down. Because by the time you do taxes and everything as well, everybody's money that they're making.
Yeah. And not only that, I'm seeing it from the, like on the, I run everything through my own filters, right? But on the lending front, when I'm sitting with somebody who has a Starbucks salary, that's one thing. But when I'm sitting with somebody who is a restaurateur, right? I've helped multiple restaurateurs locally purchase properties.
Yeah.
I feel like they have more of like they come in with more of a pride to their work and pride to their business.
Yeah.
And I think that translates in quality.
Absolutely.
Truly. Like for instance, I'm thinking of Joe Free, my buddy Joe Free, who owns the Dollar, owns Silver Dollar.
Yeah.
Incredible man, family man, incredible businessman, great product. Go support Silver Dollar. When I was helping them a couple years back buy their home, when we were going over like income and assets and liabilities, he was like the smile on his face, and you know Joey's got like the best smile ever. Like the smile on his face when he was showing me like the business growth and what he wants to do with the location and where they're going to start sourcing their meat to get a higher product and local and localize this. And then I linked up with so-and-so that has a local this, and we're going to start to bring that local in. Almost like, yes.
No, it's exactly it.
Oh my gosh. And then it's just, it's so frustrating as like a little micro economist, if you would, to then drive by like the Taco Bells and the Burger Kings and the Starbuckses and the Dutch Brothers that have like 35-minute lines.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, there's open tables right now at Iguanas on Plymouth Street, at Steelhouse Coffee, at Silver Dollar, at all of these, at Salsa Fresh, at all of these amazing local spots that you can go in and give them your patronage and your love, and it's going to be that much of a better experience.
Well, you're going to get norm for the most part. I mean, and this is where a lot of businesses think and sale. Customer service, majority of the wise, is better in a small business. If it's not,
you'd hope. It ought to be.
If it's not, you're not going back.
Yeah.
Right?
Guaranteed.
And so
Yet, if you go into Starbucks and you're sitting across from some bitchy 17-year-old and you get like no time of day, or you walk in and they don't acknowledge you, you're going to keep going back.
Yep.
But the second you go into a small business and somebody isn't crazy, bubbly, cracked out on coke, or not coke, cracked out on caffeine.
They're not doing lines of cocaine
I hope
to sell their coffee.
I hope they're not doing lines at Steelhouse. Hard to say. Anyway, anything to get the coffee into the people. No, but they're you threw me for such a loop just now, man. But it was my fault.
But I get it. If they're not
they're not perfect, it's the downfall.
It's expectations.
It's not only that. It's exactly that. It's the I'm gonna leave a bad review. Did you leave a bad review for Starbucks, ma'am? That botched your drink 3 times? No. But the second you go into Karen, the second you go into any small business, and
I'm not talking about you, Aunt Karen. You're good.
Yeah. I'm not talking to you, Aunt Karen. I love you. You set, like, when you walk into a small business, so many people, like, they go instantly onto like a pedestal, like, oh, it's all about me. I'm like, but you don't walk into every place like that. Why is there more scrutiny on the service on a small business? It's not fair.
I think if
more lines of code.
Oh, I think it actually has to do with a little bit of an envy as well.
You think so?
Most people don't like their job.
Mm-hmm.
Most people hate their job.
I hate my job. I'm kidding.
Well, that's it, guys.
I was just trying to keep up with your stat. I needed to support it. You're like most. Well, there's 2 of us here.
No, most people don't like their job.
Yes.
Like job satisfaction, I want to say last year was at 80%. That's
super low.
Not satisfaction, dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
Was at 80% last year.
Yeah,
and it's only been going up, right? I don't even remember it being high when I was a kid. Like most people would be like, I hate my job, but I get to go out on the boat in the weekend.
Yeah.
I hate my job, but I just got on a vacation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think that because they hate their job and they're like, you have the gall to start your own business. Well, you have to go. You have to go through my, because I didn't do that. Yeah. And you think you can just start your own business and you're going to take my money? There's this weird pride of
weird exchange.
And it's because it's like, well, I didn't sell myself out to an organization to make X amount of money, but that means I have to work twice as hard.
Correct.
But it also means the gains are my gains, and the losses are my losses. Those are direct correlation 100%. To my decisions as a small 100%. Business owner. Not you can do bad at a job, and they'll be like, well, performance review. Hey, we noticed you've been doing pretty bad for 6 months. Yeah, we haven't been making as much money from you, so you need to do better. Oh, okay. Yeah. If I'm a small business and I'm doing bad product for 6 months, I'm out of business. There is no.
Yeah, you're that razor's edge there, and I feel like so much of that can be translated from, like, for instance, if we're looking at a small business, let's take I said Salsa Fresh. Shout out to Salsa Fresh.
Yeah.
Lincoln, go hit them up.
Yeah.
Delicious. If you go into Salsa Fresh right now, you walk in right now, somebody's going to greet you. They'll be like, hey, how's your day going? Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, what can I get you? You walk in, you smell it. You're 10 feet from the kitchen.
Yeah.
They're grilling live. They're cooking. Good. It's diced. Everything is the salsas. Fresh. Everything right there is boom, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Walk into, like, the only real chain Mexican food I can think of. Chili's is Mexican food. What? Freaking walk into Taco Bell. Do you think any of that is being, like, actually made?
Oh, no.
No.
There's bags, and warmers, exactly. And then there's a tube.
Yeah, little cocking gun of like, ooh.
You want extra beef?
If the goal is just to be fed and to leave full, sure. But if the goal is, again, just to be fed, and now you have the opportunity to keep another 20 to 30% of that dollar exchange in your local community for a better product.
Yep.
Help me understand.
All right. So,
AKA, we need to get you a drive-through.
You know what? I'm with you.
I don't want people to have.
I've been looking
to not go to y'all because
I've been looking for a drive-through for a bit. It's just difficult sometimes to find a good one.
Let's buy the Java Detour on Highway 20.
All right, I'm down. So, other small business stats for 2024. Okay. 99.9% of U.S. businesses are small businesses.
What?
99.9% of U.S. businesses are small businesses.
99.9? Are you sure?
That's what this says according to Let's see, which one was this one?
Not to fact check us live, but
no,
99.9. That sounds.
They're basing it. Okay, it's based off of I don't get that. AI is assisting me. You know how like everyone's decided to add AI, and you're like, you're so not.
Damn
helpful.
you, Meta! I was just looking up a friend.
So we can fact check this as we go, because being a small business, you kind of like, okay,
yeah.
Okay, so this is a good one. 65% of small businesses are profitable.
Sure.
Now I've heard that stat different. I've heard that,
which means 35. They're
not.
They're going backwards.
Yeah, and I've heard that 40% are profitable, 30% break even, and 30% just are on the decline.
Yeah.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
That's a different stat. That was last year's stat from a different side.
Yeah.
57% of small business owners plan to create new jobs in 2024. It's true. You're never, as a small business owner, I'm never going, man, I would love to not hire anybody else and just work by myself for 100 hours a week. No, you go, man, I would love to hire somebody so I can do another thing. Because
correct. To add to the business.
You get in this entrepreneur, you get into this vibe, you're like, I need to fix this. Okay, to fix this, I need to have somebody, but I can't have somebody unless I build it first, get it stable, hire somebody for that spot.
100%.
I mean, when I was working at the hospital, it was really funny. And this is just a telltale sign. I'm not going to tell you the name of the hospital, but this is just how organizations work. Okay, if any of you have worked a corporate job and you've been in the finances, you'll see this. They always go, well, we need to cut down on our overhead. We need to cut down on our overhead. So when I was working at the hospital, I literally put in my 2 weeks notice. I'm about to start working at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Like, got everything set,
full-fledged.
ready to go. I was super. I'm like, I'm going all in. I'm either all in and I sink, or we sail.
Yeah.
So I go in and I talk with my boss, and she looks at me and she goes, I'm super excited for you. I was like, yeah, I'm excited too. And she goes, man, it's gonna be a bummer not having you here. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna miss this place. The people are amazing. I'm not gonna miss.
You were there for
10 years.
10. Yeah, there you go.
So there is that amount of you knew everybody.
10 years.
And so she said, yeah, I'm in a pickle. I said, well, what's going on? She goes, maybe you can help me. You're looking at numbers right now. She says, I got to cut my overhead expenses in our department by 10%.
You're like, sweet, I'm leaving in 2 weeks.
I said, well, cool. You'll be able to do it this quarter because I'm out.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, they want me to cut 10% every year for the foreseeable future. I said, they want you to cut 10% cost for every year for the foreseeable future. She says, yeah. I said, okay, so you have no department in 10 years.
Yeah.
She says, well, no, that's not what they're saying. I was like, you don't think that's what they're saying, but that's exactly what they're saying. Yeah. So the department that
Let's let other people in other departments slowly take over your workload as you decrease your labor force.
But then what happens?
You're gone.
And then what happens to those departments? They have to cut down too. It's not just one department. They want everyone to cut down 10%.
Yeah.
And if every organization cuts 10% overhead constantly, they think that they're saving. And the reality is they're cutting quality down. And even when inflation hits, when quality decreases, people stop going to your location. That's just how it works. We play the game often of like, ooh, do we need this product? And I go, I'm not decreasing the product value.
Yeah.
As soon as you decrease product value, just to kind of play in the competition game, you are no different than a fast food chain. And at that point, you get to live with that. But that's the mindset of a corporate business. So that person making the decision of cutting the 10%, cutting the 10%, cutting the 10%, their salary.
Yeah.
They're making $80K, $100K a year, and good job. Like, no part of me is mad at them for that.
Yeah.
And when they look at all these other jobs, I got to cut 10% down. That's the cogs of the corporate entity. And that's why everybody's miserable. Do you think that anybody wants to walk into a spot and be like, sorry, we've got 20 employees and I've got to cut 10% of my cost and we have no assets other than employees. So 2 y'all fired.
Yeah.
Every year?
When your asset is the employee, yet you still have to scale back. The only way to scale back is to scale back on what set you apart.
Or you cut back hours. But then how can you keep up with quality if you cut back the hours on stuff? And then micromanaging, then you end up micromanaging to try to up. So I feel really bad for people in a lot of corporate jobs because they're literally in a no-win scenario. Your boss who you think hates you is probably in a no-win scenario who's looking at price sheets and they're going, hey, you see our profitability was at 30%. That's a great margin, but we feel like you can give us more. Yeah. Well, where does that more come from?
And there's less safety. I mean, there's less safety in a corporate structure. You're always one budget cut away from grabbing a box and throwing your laptop and your plant in it. You know what I mean? When you're with a small business, you're gonna ride the wave, the increase and the decrease together, but at the same time, you're on the raft, so you're riding it. Versus in a corporate structure, you don't know that the wave's coming, and then all of a sudden, What do you mean? What do you mean I'm being let go? I've been here for 7 years.
Sorry, the numbers.
Greg, it's not you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know?
Yeah.
There could very well have been more earnings or more earnings potential the time you're there, but like many, they spend it as quickly as they get it. And then next thing you know, when that wave comes, you're on your way out, grabbing your box and your cute little plant.
Hey, leave my plant
and then
out
everybody else is in their cubicle like, they're like, oh, Greg was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm next.
Well, and then what you do is you create that, and you create that environment. And what does that do for morale? That just decreases it consistently, right? And so,
unless Greg was just a total asshole,
he deserved it.
Yeah,
freaking good.
Yeah.
Sorry, Greg, if you're listening. You figmented person in my mind.
The first Greg I thought of was Greg Quilty. I love you, Greg. I love you, Greg. I'll get you another plant, man. Don't worry.
I think those are real thoughts and real facts that the reason people are really mad about corporate America is in that mindset of you're just replaceable. And the longer the things get tighter with legislations and different rules and different laws and different things, the more people get frustrated with that.
Yeah.
Which leads me into what I think, and this is Joe's thoughts. Okay, this is not.
The phone is flipped over.
There is no data to back this other than a gut feeling. That I see in the market. Okay.
What do you got?
So. We live in California. If you're curious where we live in California, north of Sacramento. And the reason why I'm giving you that information is because of the laws in California have constantly been changing. So if you have a fast food chain, minimum wage is now $20 instead of $15. Okay. So
Burger Flipper 3000, man. Like literally I saw it like 8 or 9 months ago. Wendy's was creating a robot that can literally from start to finish flip a burger patty and make a... And people are like, oh, okay, well, no, the wage going up is good. I'm like,
well, do you know?
Burger Flipper 3000, man. You're going to be gone.
On April 1st, I read this stat. On April 1st, when they went, hey, it's officially in effect, minimum wage is at $20, 10,000 jobs were gone instant.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
People don't realize that.
Like, what?
Yeah. So again, that goes to the corporate thing. Sorry, it's not your fault. We have to keep an X amount of profitability so we can continue to pay all of our other assets and keep everything else moving.
Yeah.
That's just business. I mean, and so to be like, oh, I'm making $20. Good job if you are, and you still have a job. That's amazing. But what has that done?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't go to fast food often. It's not a thing. I love to cook. It's one of my favorite. To me, it's relaxing. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Do you know how much a Whopper meal is right now?
I don't know. $8, $9?
$18.
For a Whopper, for like the BK number one?
A BK number one with French fries and a drink, $18.
Oh my!
Do you know how much it is?
Build back better, baby.
Yeah, do you know how much it is for a Big Mac meal at McDonald's? It's like $16, $17. Okay, so the reason I'm saying that is because it's so expensive.
It's just not cool.
Okay, we're gonna.
Dude, you have to make so much money in this economy to survive right now. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
I'm serious, and I daily I'm sitting with families going over their finances, and I have to morally run every family through my own moral compass, and if they ask me like, "Hey, should we buy this house?" I have to think about their good months and their bad months. So it's just like, but everybody is strapped. Like you have to have 2 earnings and money away, and groceries are up like 60 or 70% over the last 3 to 4 years. I'm just like, what are we doing, man?
Did you see these?
What are we freaking doing?
Well, that goes into the TikTok viral stuff that's been going. People have been going into their cart on Walmart because they can ship it to their house.
Saw that.
And it's like, what was it last year compared to now?
2020 versus 2024. And it went up like literally like 65%.
One of the ones I saw, $112 for their product in 1 year, $450 for the same items 4 years later. So there is that amount that people may be saying that. And then that's certain products, that's certain places. Again, that's laws and tariffs and all those things.
I don't know how people do it.
Well, that's why local economy wise, this is where I'm going to get into the optimism, because we can get bummed out by inflation and all that. But what does that do? People were going, I'm going over here because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So I always look at the rule of thirds. If it's cheap and it's quick
It's not good.
It's not good. And if it's good and it's fast, it's not going to be cheap, right? You play that game.
Yeah.
So if something is now fast, it's not good, and it's not cheap,
what are you doing?
You can literally go, a local spot that we've got is 2 Bits Cafe. You can go to 2 Bits Cafe.
Shout out to 2 Bits.
Love 2 Bits. You can go in there. You can get a cheeseburger, fries, drink right there, $13.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So it's inconvenient, but now you're saving $5.
Yeah.
Instead of going through somewhere that it's not fresh meat, it's not fresh produce, it's none of that. They don't care.
Yeah.
You're going into a mom and pop shop where they're trying to keep as fresh as they can. Yeah. They're going to the local market to get the goods. They're trying to keep the stuff going. So I am in the optimism element going, people are getting so fed up. And it's not getting fed up with politicians. That's an element of it. We're getting fed up with corporatism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't know what's best for me. Yeah. I know what's best for me. I can look at the market and go, hey, this market looks weird, but what happens? And this is where my brain goes. It happens in 5 years when you're going to look at capital cities are going to stay the same. Capital cities with In-N-Out Burger and all that stuff, they're going to stay the same. Why? Because there's enough money still in those big places, more corporate entities.
Yeah.
But what happens in these smaller places that trickle up the coast and trickle up in different places? What's going to happen? All those franchises are going to start disappearing. And who's going to occupy those empty buildings? Small business owners, people that see opportunity going, hey, I was working here. Now, what are they? They're going to get the increase. And I don't know if you know this. So if Steelhouse Coffee were to get a fast or a drive-through ready to go, cool. If we were to do that, we wouldn't have to pay the $20 an hour minimum wage.
Why? Because
it's a franchise tax for the 20 hours minimum wage. So you have to have at least 15 locations.
Oh, got it.
Established in the state for the $20 to go effect. They did that to go, well, we need to tax the rich because they've got the most. Sure, that's great. But what is it doing? It's affecting everyone because when you tell the 1% you need to pay the other 99%, they're going to just take it from the 99%.
Correct. Correct.
Yep. So it becomes this beautiful thing where I'm going, perfect. What happens when all these buildings are empty? They're going to get occupied with dreamers and visionaries and entrepreneurs that go, no. And that to me is the heart of America.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Literally was watching a video the other day. I was saying, American dream is dead. Okay, redefine the American dream. The American dream as we know it is dead, but that doesn't mean we don't have a dream.
Yeah.
Okay? The American dream of, I'm going to own a house with my white picket fence and go on vacation for X amount of time. Okay, cool. That's great. Then what?
Yeah.
Save up in retirement and then do what?
Yeah.
Cool. You die a little bit every day. Yeah. People are now to the point where they want to have experiences. They want to live. That's why social media is so big. Seeing people, oh, they went skydiving. I want to do that. Yeah. Oh, they went there. Oh, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
We're in a point where now let's shift the American dream. You want to do it? Do it.
Yeah. Don't wait till you're 65 and you don't have the opportunity.
But isn't that the real dream, though?
Bro.
Isn't that the real American dream?
Yeah.
So people say the free market's dead when I'm going, you don't understand. They've created a noose. They've wrapped it around their neck. They're hanging themselves right now. And we're going, how dare you? And it's like, don't go.
Yeah.
Your money is a vote. Every time you put your dollar somewhere, you're voting for that establishment. Don't vote for them.
Well said. Well said.
So I don't see this as a problem. If anything, I see this as an empowering to the individual.
It's an opportunity. I think it's an opportunity. I was just reading the other day that like the amount of the boomer generation that is getting closer and closer and closer, not only now into retirement, but now into their 70s and 80s, they own so many of those small businesses, and they're at a spot right now where they're, closer to the end of life than obviously the beginning. The opportunity is there for the entrepreneur to come in and be like, hey, I know that you own 7 houses and you rent all those out. What does that look like for me to be able to acquire one of those or 2 of those? Or you own 4 laundromats and you are 75 years old. Would you like to scale back and to give the next generation an opportunity to not only learn from the prior generation, and the boomer generation, in my opinion, is very big on being able to hand something off, which is the perfect paradigm here. But there is opportunity there. If you want something enough, you've got to be willing to go out and get it. Right?
Yeah.
We're working away from being spoon-fed. If you're looking for freedom in the sense of like time freedom, earnings that allow you the opportunity to get out of office, take time away, shut your laptop down, what you have to do there you have to be dialed. You have to be fiscally responsible, right? Mm-hmm. When like you said on social media, if you see somebody that's out and that's traveling and you want to do that, don't just say, Paraguay.
Yeah.
It's on the bucket list. I'll be there eventually.
When I retire.
Put it on the freaking 2025 list and then work your ass off to get to bleep in Paraguay.
Hustle it.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then you now have the rest of your life with that lived experience instead of just putting it off to the very end.
When I was
trying to hold your hand.
Oh, thank you. That's always
nothing new here. Remember when we were in...
Yes, I do.
You do?
And that's not a story we can tell social media.
You're right.
It's hilarious, though.
It's so good. Good catch.
I was like... So... I agree, but I think the biggest thing that people don't realize is it's the generations interpret generations differently. So
every
boomers,
every aging generation thinks the next generation is just like the worst thing ever.
Yeah, and that they have no effort, that they can't do anything.
Yeah.
And again, it's always in the absolutes. Well, you see the kids on TikTok.
Yep.
We're doomed. It's like you're 90, you don't own TikTok.
Correct.
Just stop getting your news from the TV. Anyways. Because of that being the case, though, what's happening is you have to build the relationships. And so this is where I see the biggest struggle when we're looking at building relationships. I have people constantly coming and going, oh, I'd like to get a job. Oh, that's awesome. So I'll have a conversation with them. Like, okay, a customer comes in, you make them a drink. They're not happy. Well, what do you say? I would, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, yo, I'm right here.
I'm going to thank you. And then so I'd be like, oh, hey, thank you. I said, hey, eye contact's super important to customer service. Yeah. So
thank you.
Thank you for bringing
We'll call you.
What I tell them is I go, work on this. Because it's easy to go, hey, no, I'm like, please.
Yeah.
I need to feel, I need to be convinced. And that comes to confidence in yourself, looking at the person and taking care of them. That's something you have to work on.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, it's not that if they can't do it, they can't work for me. That's one element. If they can't do that, good luck getting a job anywhere.
Yeah.
Good luck having a social conference.
Even if they didn't get an opportunity to work at Steelhouse, you gave them a better odds and opportunity of working anywhere.
Just to help them.
That's awesome.
And so you're looking at like...
refine them.
A lot of people going, I don't know how to have a conversation with somebody. I don't know how to have those personability. And I think that's where the despair comes in the market. Yeah. The vision that I said about the American dream, it has to be grabbed by people that are willing to create relationships, community, and to grab it. Problem is the next generation or the generations that we're seeing that are so dependent on technology don't understand how to have those conversations.
I get that. I totally get that.
I do see that, but it's not something that's the end of the world.
Yeah.
To me, it's something that can be taught.
Yeah.
It's something that can be trained. And if all you're doing in a passing by conversation is going, sorry, I just can't hire you. Well, why? Oh, we just don't have the money, which is probably 90% of the sense true, especially with inflation. I get that.
Yeah.
But if you're going, hey, you could have done this better. Our interview was at 4:00 and it's 4:30. Mm-hmm. That shows me you can't show up on time.
Yeah.
If you want to go somewhere else, please try and be more efficient on time.
Please be on time.
I'm trying to help you. Like this is gonna help.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that people are wanting to be enabled with a label. Mm-hmm. Do you hear about the newest time blindness? They're trying to make it an actual. I'm not kidding. There's a lady that went viral on TikTok. She's like, I showed up for my job interview at 5:00, even though it was at 4, and that's the earliest I could get there because I am not sensitive. I don't understand time. I have time blindness.
What?
Yeah, totally. And was just like, but this is, I need this. So she's going to doctors, asking them to sign off, saying that she's got time blindness so they can show up to work anytime they want. Showing up to work on time shows that you're a responsible individual and that I can trust you with my business.
Yes.
Okay? As a small business owner, if you don't show up on time, that means I can't trust you.
They don't value your time.
Yeah. And that means you don't trust
and your livelihood.
And the value the customer's time or anything like that. So it's not this, man, I need this because I'm not understanding time. I get it. I was late to church almost every Sunday because my mother always, as much as she'd be like, we've got 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And Mom, church started 5 minutes ago. I don't think we got 10 minutes. It'll be fine. But what did she had to do? She had to fix that over time.
Yeah.
Right? And so we were either really early to church or really late. But she never was like, psychologists say that I have time blindness, so I need this label to justify me not getting there on time. It's like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Bro.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Stop looking for a label to enable you.
If it's important to you, you'll make time for it.
Yes.
How terrible at my job would I be if, like, before we begin rolling, I'll let you know that I have a 11 a.m. phone call.
Yeah.
It's a VA family that's looking about here from, they're currently down in Florida.
Yeah. So
when I was scheduling with them at 11 a.m., I was being clear, 11 a.m. California time, Pacific time, right? 2 o'clock for y'all. Like, yeah. How quickly would I lose a client if instead of calling them right at 11, I called them at 11:35 and said, "Oh, hey guys, just trying to make time for you." Be like, "Hello."
Yeah. No.
So there's value to time, obviously, right? When you're around people that get it, it's wonderful. Am I perfect at it? No.
It wasn't a judgment, people. That was a love.
Been real.
We've both tried to walk out multiple times on this episode. You know it's good.
Your speed and response was not okay.
No.
I'm not perfect at this. No, you're not. I'm like, you kind of showed your cards there, bro. No.
Go fish.
From a work standpoint, yes. Socially, no. Pastor Doug is probably going to comment on this and be like, Cam's the second songer. Second songer.
Second songer.
Getting to church during the second song. Church is at 11. It hasn't changed, man. Been going to that church for 5 years. 11 a.m.
Yeah.
We walk in at 11:10.
Well, you also got a lot of little feet.
I know, but bro, it's not like I don't know it. It's just.
No, I get it. Bro,
the little feet are little feet. We can all get up 10 minutes.
Is this now a therapy session?
This is.
Be like, I don't understand my time blindness.
I have time blindness, and we are knocking this woman. It's me. Hello.
If you didn't get that reference, it's Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, come on. If you didn't get that reference, just shut it down. Shut it down.
So, but I think that the
whole time.
Oh, so good.
So good.
Opportunity, though, is always knocking.
It is.
And for us to go, well, I don't have the same opportunities as somebody else. You're right. But that doesn't mean that you can't go and try.
But you're also right if you have that mindset.
Yes.
But if you have the mindset of, I've got the same 24 hours as the LeBron Jameses, as the Oprah Winfreys, as the Warren Buffetts. You do.
Yep.
So go out and mother love and capitalize on it.
Yep.
And quit being a slave to the time clock.
Yep.
Right? You own your worth. Go get what you're worth.
Yep.
And if that isn't at your current employer, then go out and find what freaking lights your existence on fire, and then figure out how to make money off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're hearing this, thank you so much for taking a listen to it. Hopefully you got some value from it. I know
I did.
Yeah, I'm not. We'll work on your time, bro. No, but we're super grateful for you guys. But know in the end, your future is your call.
Yeah.
These stats and statistics we went through are just what they are.
Yeah.
They're cold.
Yeah.
You bring the heart to those things,
Yeah.
and you can change those things.
Yeah.
So give a like, give us a subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
And yes, life is long and weird and hard right now. Hang in there. Keep working hard. We love you. Thank you for coming along with us.
Thank you for checking out the Cam and Joe Show.
If you guys are liking our content so far, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also listen to us on Spotify.